All right, boys, so this video is going to be a little bit different. A lot of you all have been requesting that I cover like patch notes and the TWAB and whatnot, so that's what we're going to be doing today. The TWAB, or This Week at Bungie, is what it stands for, TWAB, TWAB, or This Week at Bungie. A lot of people actually don't know that. People ask me that all the time, so that's what it means, in case you were wondering. Comes out every Thursday around 6 p.m. EST, you know, give or take an hour or so. Never really know, but that's around the time it normally comes out, and they cover like upcoming things and whatnot in the TWAB. It's just like a massive way for like the developers at Bungie to be super transparent with their community, hence why they are one of the best developers. So this week, this is the very last TWAB we're gonna have before Season of the Worthy, before Trials of Osiris, all that good stuff, and they are giving us some changes or some previews to some changes of exotic armor, how like power drops are going to be getting updated, how the first weekend of Trials is going to be a little bit different from all the other weekends, some of the Eververse stuff, like a lot of things are in this one, so buckle in, get ready, let's go. So they start out by saying, this week at Bungie, we prepare for the Worthy. We are just 5 short sleeps away from Season of the Worthy. Last week, you completed the Empyrean Foundation event, lighting a beacon for Guardians to follow back to the Lighthouse and Trials of Osiris. On Tuesday, we unveiled Season of the Worthy all up. If you haven't seen the trailer, there is a new threat for you to confront. Now, we're not going to watch a trailer, of course, as just about everyone has seen it, but we're just going to skip past that. And then we're going to get down here. This is the new like roadmap, and a little update on the roadmap. If you look in the bottom right corner of the roadmap, you'll actually see "and more." As you can see here, there's no mentioning of exotic weapons, or they don't like show the exotic weapons prior like they did for Season of Dawn. There was just too many people that were like, we want surprises. We don't want to know exactly what's coming. We don't want to know exactly what it looks like. I feel like that was a problem with Bastion and why I got so much kind of backlash. Even though I thought it was a great quest, great gun, all that good stuff, I feel like that was a lot of the backlash. If the community hadn't seen Bastion prior and didn't know anything about it, then they would have been fine with it. I would have been fine with it in my opinion. But it is really nice that they're not giving us everything now on the roadmap. They are going to be saving some surprises, which I really, really enjoy. Now, the next section states that in response to the COVID-19 outbreak, our teams have been working hard to build an infrastructure that would enable Bungie employees to support Destiny 2 and the impending Season 10 release safely from remote locations. Season of the Worthy is still planned to release on March 10th, followed by the return of Trials of Osiris on March 13th. Good job, Bungie. COVID-19 is a serious thing, and it's good that they're keeping their employees safe. So yeah, getting on to the next one, Trials Returns. This pretty much just goes over the whole, they want you to start a hashtag on Twitter about, you know, all your best moments from Trials back in the day in D1. If y'all did play Trials, let me know in the comment section. I'm actually looking to find as many OG Trials players as possible. Got to round y'all up, and we got to run some games, man. Now, next one is power gains. With each new season, you're faced with new challenges that require a bit of power acquisition to take on. In Season of the Worthy, you'll be challenged in not only Trials of Osiris, but in Legendary Lost Sectors and Grandmaster Nightfalls. Here's a quick update from the dev team on what's changing on day 1 and what our plans are for a mid-season update. Now, the dev team, this is a big one. This is a big one, boys. Dev team says we're raising the cap for gear drops by 40 points. If y'all don't know, going from Shadowkeep to Season of Dawn, it was 10 points. This time it's going up 40 points. Powerful gear will now drop up to 1,000, with pinnacle drops going up to 1,010. The soft cap has been effectively raised 50 points. Gear drops from nearly all sources will continue to be upgrades until 950 power, and powerful reward sources will not be required to progress to 950. We're looking to present an element of gear progression available each season, as well as prepare for underlying systems for future updates, like the forthcoming one for legendary weapons mentioned by Luke Smith in the Director's Cut Weapons Forever section. So yeah, we're getting a massive bump. This is going to be the first time ever that you, the Guardian, or just Guardians in general, will be able to reach power level 1000 without the seasonal artifact, that's big. I've actually never even reached level 1000. My highest right now is like 993. So yeah, like that's huge. And the fact that 1000 is just strictly from powerful drops, and there's about 1 million powerful drops in the game, that's really nice. And then the soft cap, which is non-powerful drops and non-pinnacle drops, still go up to 950, which is, I mean, still cool. And then pinnacle is 110, which is even crazier. And then once we get that seasonal artifact, add that on top of it, we're gonna be overpowered, man. Now, getting into the next section, they say we're also looking to make some quality of life updates in the Pinnacle band. Starting in 2.8.1 coming mid-season, we'll be upgrading some existing powerful rewards to Pinnacle rewards. This is a big one. These are the weekly Crucible, Strike, and Gambit challenges, as well as the weekly Clan Engram. With this change, we want to increase the total number of Pinnacle power sources in the game, broaden Pinnacle drop access, as well as increase the pools of items that can drop in the Pinnacle band. If y'all do not know, if you go to Zavala, or you go to Shaxx, or you go to Drifter, or you go to that one lady that just says, you just never stop, do you? They give you a powerful drop for doing the weeklies. So you go up to Shaxx and you pick up the 2 weekly bounties that you can only do those 2 every week. If you complete them, you go back, can't get them again. From Zavala, Drifter, or Shaxx. Those drop powerful. Now they're gonna be dropping Pinnacle. So that's, if each bounty is 1 Pinnacle, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like 7 new Pinnacle drops we could potentially be getting if they do it 1 per bounty and not just, complete 2, then you get 1. I'm assuming it's gonna be 1 per bounty, but they actually didn't clarify here. So if that is the case, 7 new Pinnacle sources every week guaranteed. You don't need to wait for Iron Banner or anything like that to get a ton of Pinnacle sources. So that's really, really cool. Now, the next thing that they touch on is slot imbalances can also affect Pinnacle progression. When we say slot imbalances, this could be explained as those times you have a chest piece drop from a Pinnacle source a few times in a row. We've been looking at player feedback for some time and are investigating a few approaches to the problem space. We're looking to have an update on that at a later date. Until then, we hope the additional sources will help you climb your ladder. What this means is that, okay, I was at this point a few weeks ago where I had all 970 gear and the only thing I was missing was gloves, and I kept getting chest pieces, or I kept getting boots, something that I didn't need. What they're pretty much saying here is that it looks like they're going to be adding some bad luck insurance, or just, I think that's actually what it's kind of referred to, bad luck insurance, where if the game sees that you have 970 everything except, like a class item, or in my case, gloves, then it's more likely to give you gloves. But they don't actually have anything to say about it right now. There's just that they're looking into it, and they'll have an update for us at a later date, which is really cool. I do actually really enjoy that because I was tired of hunting for gloves for 3 weeks straight. Now, the next one is another big one. I know just anytime the dev team comes in, man, they just start laying it out for us. The dev team states that with trials just around the corner, we wanted to address the artifact power problem as quickly as we could. As Luke said last week, our short-term fix is to disable the artifacts power bonus while in Trials and Iron Banner. For Trials, I understand that. I'm kind of a little bit iffy on the whole Iron Banner. I mean, it hasn't been a problem yet, but they're doing it anyway. Unfortunately, Season of the Worthy has already been released for certification, so we won't be able to disable the artifact's power for the first Trials weekend. We have the fix in-house to disable it and are testing it this week and hope to deploy it on Tuesday, March 17th. We really wish we could have gotten it for the launch weekend, but we also expect the first Trials weekend to be the one impacted by the artifact the least. Players will have much less time to increase their artifact power, so the majority will be close to each other outside of Pinnacle drops. So yeah, the first Trials weekend, boys, power levels enabled, which is, standard, but yeah, artifact power is also enabled. So as soon as the new season drops on Tuesday, everyone's gonna be farming those lost sectors, gonna be farming all those bounties. They're gonna be trying to get their light as high as possible because that seasonal artifact, yeah, that counts for the very first Trials weekend. So have fun there. And then they pretty much just go on these last 2 paragraphs explaining how they have a long-term plan that will end up giving Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris a power cap, and that they're still investigating it and working on it and all that stuff. But yeah, some pretty big things already. Next up is Season of the Worthy Eververse update. With the turn of each season, we hope to keep players up to date on how the Eververse store is evolving. This season, we have a few changes concerning bright engrams and a path to directly purchasing some previously featured Eververse items. Sounds pretty good. Then they go on to say, in Season of the Worthy, bright engrams will no longer be available for purchase from the Eververse store, as said in the February 2020 Director's Cut. And then they go on to quote, we want players to know what something costs before they buy it. Bright engrams don't live up to that principle, so we will no longer be selling them on the Eververse store, though they will still appear on the free track of the season pass. Hey, good guy Bungie. They wanted to get rid of the whole you can't see what you're getting before you buy it loot box system. And they had one little last piece left that still resembled that structure of a loot box, and now they're getting rid of it. So, good guy Bungie, man. This is Absolutely phenomenal. This season, we are continuing to focus our efforts on direct purchases through the Eververse store. Daily rotation of returning items is what they mentioned next. In the place of Bright Engrams, a new module will become available on the Eververse store starting in Season of the Worthy. This daily rotating module will feature one item from a small selection of ships, sparrows, ghosts, and finishers that were offered in previous seasons. These items will be available to purchase directly for silver at a discount price from the original. Aside from these changes, there aren't any other major shifts coming to Eververse. We'll be monitoring the conversation through launch and beyond, and we'll be sure to update you before any large changes comes. Here's a quick preview of some upcoming items coming with Season of the Worthy. This armor set looks really nice. And then they go on to the final preview of patch notes. Now this is the big one. We're gonna be talking about a ton of exotic armor, so get ready. Over the last few weeks, we've been giving some previews how your sandbox will be evolving in Season of the Worthy. Not just weapon tuning, but the ability to change the elemental affinity on your armor pieces. This week, we'll be taking a wider look at Destiny 2 Update 2.8.0. Exotic armor tuning for PvE and PvP, UI updates, bug fixes, and more. So, a lot of exotic armor about to change, man. Exotic armor for the Hunter, Assassin's Cowl. The invisibility and healing effect now triggers on powered melee, both against combatants and guardians and finishers. The duration of the invisibility granted by the exotic increases based on the tier of enemies defeated. And now Arc Staff no longer activates this perk. Then we have Orpheus Rig. The maximum amount of super you can regain from this exotic with a single use of Shadow Shot is 50, so a little bit of nerf right there. Then finally for the Hunters, we have Young Ahamkara Spine. Increase the explosion radius for trip mines by 14%. Next up is Titans, and here we have Ashen Wake. Killing an enemy with a fusion grenade while wearing this exotic now refunds a grenade energy. The amount of grenade energy refunded scales based on the tier of enemy killed. Then we have Antius Wards. The shield created during a slide no longer allows chip damage through. Next up is Doomfang Pauldrons, which if y'all don't know, were bugged. Fixed a bug where Doomfang Pauldrons would sometimes grant super energy from melee kills while in your super. Yeah, that was a massive bug. You could literally keep your Sentinel shield out for like 4 minutes straight, and I'm not joking. Next up is Dune Marchers. Increases the radius of the static charge to 20 meters up from 12. Then we have MK44 Stand-Asides. Reduce the delay from the start of sprinting until the overshield comes into 0.5 seconds, down from 1.25. Now, One-Eyed Mask. It's catching another nerf. Yeah, good. Needs another one. The target marking from this exotic has been replaced with target highlighting, eliminating the ability to detect targets through walls. Now, if I'm not mistaken, what this means is that, you know, those little like 4 dashes you could see that would follow the target through walls. Well, that's being taken off, and now highlighting is just going to mean like your radar. So if they're not on your radar, well, now it's going to highlight them on your radar. But I could be wrong there, but I'm assuming that's what that means, and that's a massive nerf if so. Next up is no longer provides a damage bonus when defeating your marked target. That was a big one as well. You did a lot more damage whenever you did that, but the biggest thing was the whole wall tracking. So as long as that's gone, like One-Eyed Mask is pretty much done for. Next up is Warlock, aka the best class ever. I'm joking. Don't actually get offended by that or upset. Please don't. Apotheosis Veil. This exotic is now guaranteed to drop with a minimum of plus 16 to intellect, which is really, really nice. Next is Controversive Hold. Reduce the damage reduction granted by the exotic to 20%, down from 40%. Next is an exotic that I don't even know how to pronounce. I think it's pronounced Sanguine Alchemy, correct? I could be completely wrong. Sanguine Alchemy has received a complete redesign. Its new perk, Blood Magic, allows the wearer to pause the cooldown timer of any rift they are standing in by getting weapon kills, extending the rift's duration. That sounds like I actually may use it, and I actually may know what it is, because if I've never used it, then I probably don't know how to say its name. So yeah. Ophidian Aspects is next. Now increases the lunge range of all Warlock melee attacks, even if the ability is on cooldown. That's going to be massive, especially because Ophidian Aspects are such a great like neutral game exotic, and the fact that Warlocks are already getting a melee range buff coming with the new season. So at this point, you might as well just slap a sniper scope on my arm. And then under the investment section, under the bulletin point legendary engrams, they go on to state that they are upping the armor sets available from world drop engrams from 3 to 11, making it actually possible to acquire some extremely difficult armor sets, and some that were just blatantly unavailable. So that's really cool too. But then armor sets is something I'm actually going to read fully because this is another big one. Prime Engrams will now reliably drop armor with higher overall stat rolls and spikier distributions. Exotic armor will now more reliably drop with higher overall stat rolls. And then finally, legendary armor now has an improved chance of receiving higher overall stat rolls, though low rolls will still be present. This is huge because before this, the only other way to really get high stat armor, besides just grabbing it from your season pass from Season of the Dawn, which was like literally the best and easiest way, I made a complete video on it actually, was from like doing raids, and you would get lucky and maybe get 160 roll. So yeah, it's really nice that we're having other sources of like good stat armor drops. So that's really cool. And then kind of wrapping it up, they get into the user interface, and this is big for you all on console. They state that the settings screen UI layout on consoles has changed to match the experience on PC, allowing for future updates. Does this mean that console could potentially be getting an FOV slider? Who knows? I know a lot of new games have started allowing consoles to use an FOV slider, and with what we're about to talk about next, it's a big possibility. Then they say that they added the ability to change the color of reticles on consoles. Players can choose from 7 different colors matching PC. If y'all didn't know, prior only PC had this option. That's why I said the whole next thing, because if you all are getting this now, who knows, you may get an FOV slider in the future. Hopefully. After that, they just get on to how they fixed a hint text during the loading screen, and they added a comma separator to the glimmer count in the loot stream. And then finally, they talk about how they are adding categories to the quest screen. Quest items will now automatically be filtered to any of these 7 categories, either New Light, All Quest, Shadowkeep, Seasonal, Playlist, Exotic, or the Past. So it's really going to clean up because I have way too many quests that I just haven't completed. And then finally, they just get into some performance issue fixes where they fix some stuttering, some frame rate drops, pretty much across the board on PC, which is very, very nice. And then finally, they get into when the new season is launching and the times. You can pause it there if you do want to see that. And yeah, that's pretty much going to go ahead and do it. I'm not going to keep you all here any longer. Let me know your thoughts on the TWAB this time around. I thought it was a really good one. I think that a lot of things that need to be fixed are getting fixed. It's a shame that they couldn't get the whole artifact power bonus removed prior to the very first trials, but like they said, it's not going to be that big of a difference, considering that it's literally like 3 or 4 days after the season launches. So it's not like you're going to run into someone that's like level like 1400 because they've just been farming lost sectors the whole time. But yeah, let me know what your all's thoughts are in the comment section below. Did you like any of the changes? Did you not like them? Are you upset? All that good stuff, man. So let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to drop a like, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.